Hi friends, it's Suzanne here from sunstampin.com. I'm a Canadian Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I want to welcome you to my weekly Wildcard Wednesday video on my blog and YouTube channel. The card designs I share today are a little more technique driven, but nothing too complicated. I also sell the products I feature in this video. I hope you enjoy my free video tutorial and would love to see you shop with me. For today's card, I'm featuring 3 stamp sets from 3 different publications. So the Snowfront stamp set is a holiday catalog sort of kept over, and the Waterfront is from the annual catalog, and my Meadow is from the January-June mini catalog. They're very similar, and I wanted to create a painterly type of a technique here. So I have my watercolor paper. I've inked up with some balmy blue, and you'll notice that I have put the colors of the inks that I'm using. So in case you want to reference this, the watercolor paper kind of holds the ink on the top so it doesn't absorb in straight away. So what you're able to do in this instance here with the bridge, you're able to stamp, and then you're able to sort of color with your aqua painter a little bit, so it actually doesn't look anymore like a stamp, but rather you've colored it or painted, watercolored it. So this is a nice way of cheating with your watercolor, and card makers do it all the time. We obviously are artists. What I've done here, this is the technique where you're wetting the paper first and then you're dipping it into the stamped color. So I squeezed a little bit of the water from my aqua painter onto the page, and then I am bringing down the ink that I have stamped. So you can see if I have a harsh line, I can scrub it out if I want to. I don't want to actually touch the top of the horizon line. I want to keep it there for now, and I'm not touching the blue to the green. I want a separation. I'll mix things together at the end. So this is I've inked up with my smoky slate, and I've come in with a dauber, and I've daubed on a very dark blue, and I am stamping this mountain range, which came from the Snowfront stamp set, and now I can sort of watercolor it together. Both of those inks that I have need to be re-inked, I have noticed. All right, so I have managed, I kind of dry it in between as well. So if you think that I'm not drying it, I am. I've just removed that from the video. All right, and here I go with a couple different colors, mixing them together, and that's why I have my little wet baby wipe. I also have a small square of paper towel. All right, so this is where I come in after everything has been dried, and that ink, it can still be reactivated. So with my aqua painter, I'm trying to pull out some of the colors, and what is really neat about Garden Green is it has a bluey base. So I'm able to sort of bring out the blue haze, and I have this little dauber here of Night of Navy, and I'm also trying to just gently bring in some blue for the horizon. Just, you know, you get to play a little bit when you do this, so it is definitely relaxing, stress relieving. So I hope you guys are using your craft time to relieve your stress. I certainly am. I've cut this little, this is a Post-it note, and I've cut a little mask because I'm going to do the sky. And the stamp that I'm using is from the Waterfront, and it's a speckly one. And I also got the sun from the Waterfront stamp set. And just so you know, the grass was from the Waterfront as well. And also the water. So pretty much just the bridge at this point is from the Meadow. And I, again, have loosened that color on the watercolor paper. And I've dried the paper off camera. Okay, so these trees are from my Meadow. And I am using Memento Tuxedo Black ink because it is water resistant. You have to dry it though. You can't just go and stamp and get it all wet straight away. It has to dry. All right, so now I am adding my leaves. So my two favorite colors of inks for leaves are Granny Apple Green and Shaded Spruce. I'm applying ink direct to the stamp with Granny Apple Green, and then I'm using a dauber to daub on just an edge or center or whatever for the Shaded Spruce. It gives a variation in color. Now, obviously, I'm not going to go in with my aqua painter with this because I think it'll make a mess. So what I ended up doing instead was using my little spritz bottle, and I have that just at top left there. And you'll see it in a second at how I make this more painterly or watercolory looking. So I am still working on those leaves. And like I said, each and every time I put an application of ink down, I hit it with my heat tool. Your heat tool has your Stampin' Up! Heat tool has a setting number 1 and setting number 2. Setting number 2 is almost hot and embossing, and setting number 1 is for drying. So you can quickly dry in between. So now I'm hitting just the leaves with my spritzer, and I'm letting it go. So making sure that it, like a little bit of that color runs. And now I'm using some Shaded Spruce for my, just a little bit of grass. And then I wanted to sort of scrub the line between the blue and the green, so the water and the land. And I also didn't like how hard my blue line was at the very end there, at the very top. So I scrubbed it away, and you can see that I was successful in removing some of the ink. So just by scrubbing with my aqua painter, it actually worked out really well. All right, so I've attached this to some pretty peacock paper, and I put a lot of adhesive down and a lot of adhesive on that pretty peacock as well, so that I could adhere it to a Whisper white thick card base using my bone folder to fold. And then I'm going to scrub again away and create more of a painterly effect for the grass. And I'm adding a couple of rocks. Those are from my Meadow. And now I almost forgot the sentiment. So I use Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and the sentiment comes from Waterfront. Oh, I also wanted to make mention that the leaves I used are from Snowfront. The dies I used are the ornate frames. They were actually from the Halloween section of the holiday catalog, and I absolutely love them. They're perfect. And that is pretty much my card for today. The sentiment says, "Every little kindness makes the world brighter," and I am using a Shaded Spruce dauber there, ever so slightly just on the edges. And I come in with my Wink of Stella finally, and I sparkle up the water. Thank you so very much for watching, and I will catch you again soon. Bye for now. Hey, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. On screen are 2 more videos for inspiration. Click on the maple leaf for my blog, or click on me to subscribe to my channel. Thanks again for watching.